Let's go! You guys, you're going to have to help me through this video because you already know how I feel about this Arik Gilbert situation. No longer going to Florida. And should we take him back at LSU? Heck, Dwight McGlothern is already after this situation. Guys, this video is going to go in so many different directions in honor of Arik Gilbert, whose career so far has already gone in so many different directions. And also, should LSU use their final slot on someone that's already helped them win a national championship? A good little nugget for you at the end of today's video, so subscribe. Let's go. So, guys, this video is not going to be as fancily, is that even a word? It's not going to have as many fancy cuts. It's going to be a little bit more stream of consciousness because I've tried to respond to all of your messages. And look, I've gotten Instagrams, emails, all that crap. And I want to discuss all the layers to the story because I do think there's something LSU can learn from this. Starting off here with Arik Gilbert's tweet, I will not be announcing my final decision until I'm enrolled into school and on campus. So, lesson number 1, wait till things are signed, sealed, and delivered with basically anything. And I know we discussed recruiting and whatnot and commitments. That's the danger. Until things are signed, sealed, and delivered, that's why Florida fans were kind of iffy on this whole thing. And I've read some of the Florida reporters tweeting out that there's more to it than this, which leads us to lesson number 2. Mental health is very important. Arik Gilbert's mom tweeted out something about an athlete's mental health recently. Well, if he really is going through something, I hope he does get the help that he needs. But on top of that, if it is something serious, then someone does need to step in and say, look, it's probably good for you to step away from everything right now. So Gilbert followed up with his Twitter. I thank all who stayed with me through the process. But this is what drives me nuts, okay? Social media. It's not real life. We get carried away with vague tweets that say absolutely nothing. And if I was an LSU teammate of Arik Gilbert's and I saw this tweet right here, I would be going insane. A dying breed lost in a sea of metal. Now, I don't know if that's a lyric from a movie or a song, but you're not a dying breed. A dying breed is normally something that is sacred. Is that the right word? No, it's something that, you know, if you say a friend's a dying breed, that means that they're rare. That means that they're, you know, there's something virtuous about them. It wasn't just that he left the team. It's that there was residual damage that came along with it. Not only did you quit with 2 games left to go in the season, this was when the roster was getting hounded with injuries. This was when the roster really needed you. We are going on the road to play the nationally ranked Florida Gators. We really need you. And you packed up your bags and went. And while you did this, well, there was all different speculation going on with the team that there was, like, rancid behavior going on in the locker room. And there was a rancid culture in the LSU locker room. And there very well could be. And there are a lot of damaging, bad, horrible things surrounding the LSU football program and LSU in general. But that's separate than your actions, which hurt the team. And I know the team objectively went 2-0, but it did them no favors that you did this, and you were a massive distraction. And it wasn't just then. There was residuals on that because, well, we were told that you had enrolled back into school and you were interested in rejoining the team. And So here's Elias Ricks. Just wait on it. Now, what does this mean? Could mean a lot of different things. But it drives me up a wall that we get so carried away with vague booking or vague tweets or whatever. When people like what you just saw with Arik Gilbert post a vague tweet or whatever, they oftentimes mean absolutely nothing. And a lot of celebrities do it to drum up attention and whatever. I don't care what you tweet out or anything. Your account is your account. And I find all different types of new entertaining accounts every single day. However, you know, this is not the absolute best time to tweet this out, because we just went through, and Elias Ricks knows this, okay? People are smart. We just went through an entire ordeal with Elias Ricks may or may not be staying with LSU, and he knows this. And then we hear he is 100% back in LSU, according to Greg Biggins at 247. So it's not necessarily, you know, a bad thing that, you know, anyone tweets out anything, and it could be nothing, but just because you did it does drum up attention, and it's not necessary, and that's part of it. This is a generation you're in with social media. There's all this attention seeking and vague tweeting that could mean 1,000 different things. So my diehard PHL fans, you know all about this graph right here. You remember it from this was actually one of our most successful videos. Our 5-star recruits actually worth it. And I know it's a longer video, but I will link it down below. You know, this graph was the one thing that most of you discussed. These are the 5-star out-of-staters that have come to LSU. And notice the only ones that hit were defensive backs. All the other positions have not worked out at LSU. Now, look, this is an extremely small sample, but it is interesting that all the 5-star recruits from Louisiana since 2011 have worked out, except for Tyron Johnson. They were productive players at LSU. Now, we'll have to see what John Emery does this next year, but that is a crazy hit rate compared to this. So it is interesting. It's very interesting. So where does he go from here? Here's Harrison Bailey, his high school teammate. It says, come to Tennessee, where Harrison Bailey was the starting quarterback as a true freshman. You know, at this point, he can go wherever. Who is the one player that I was referencing at the beginning of today's video that helped LSU win a national championship? Well, he's on the market, and I think he would be a good fit at LSU. Now, I do want to note that Shea Dixon wrote about the 4-star safety that LSU is currently after for that final slot for the class of 2021. His name slips my mind. He's out of Oklahoma. He's 6'4", and he is a ridiculously good athlete. And that would give LSU their 3rd safety in the top 5 nationally in this class. He was a part of the Texas A&M class. Then an analyst decided to leave and go to Miami, and now he stepped out of his NLI, which is kind of crazy to commit to a school because of an analyst. I can understand a position coach, but anyway, LSU is currently after him to join this class, and LSU has said that they want a safety to be used for this final slot. Now, some of you say, well, we want an offensive lineman and whatnot. How about I give you a player that currently has played in not one but multiple college football playoff games, Darian Kendrick, who's no longer a part of the Clemson football team, per the Greenville News and other outlets. We don't know exactly what happened with this. He was pondering going into the NFL draft, and a lot of players in that Clemson secondary have gone on to the next level. And the reason why I say he helped LSU win a national championship game, well, it's because of this. He had a super bad pass interference call on a 3rd and 16 coming out of a timeout against LSU that allowed us to eventually score a touchdown to go up 28-14 or 17 before the half. And that wasn't the only bad play he had in the game. He missed a ton of tackles. Thad Moss got him a few times. He was just bad, as was the Clemson secondary in this game. and that continued versus Ohio State, where he had a rough game. So as long as he doesn't play in New Orleans, he's a pretty good defensive back. So, it would be interesting, not only that we know that Derion Kendrick overall is a good corner, we know he could play right away. And he has played in that Brent Venables defense, so he's gotten high-level coaching. And an added benefit is if you're attacking the portal for one final slot, you have a lot of development safeties. You have a lot of development players already. I think it would better suit you to get a guy that you know is mature and could play right now. Now, look, I don't know why Clemson kicked him off. We don't know the exact reason, so maybe LSU should stand clear and do their research on this. But from a football standpoint alone, he is a very interesting prospect. And on top of that, remember, the scholarship reductions are coming. So to get a one-and-done guy is not necessarily a bad thing. It might actually be a good thing for LSU in this instance. So Derion Kendrick is out there. I would be fascinated to see if LSU is also interested, or if Kendrick is even interested in playing college football again. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! I think we're doing salmon tonight, and Haley does that mustard base. Shout out to you, Leonard. With that green, ooh, what's that green stuff called? Dill. Let's go. Let's go. Also, our cartoon discussion on the live stream last night was pretty insane, and I'm glad. I'm so glad Space Ghost Coast to Coast got the love that it deserves. Let's go, Space Coast and Zorak. Salmon night. We got to get to it. Let's go.